Explosive meltdown. California's collapse under Newsom and Bass gets roasted by Mel Gibson and Tyrus in a political smackdown for the ages. Buckle up, folks, because California's burning literally and figuratively, and the flames are licking at the polished heels of Governor Gavin Newsom and L.A. Mayor Karen Bass. These two have been strutting around like they're starring in a Hollywood blockbuster, but the script they're reading from is a disaster flick, and the reviews are in there flopping harder than a fish out of water. Enter Mel Gibson, the cinematic legend who's traded his sword for a verbal flamethrower, and Tyrus, the wrestling titan. Dropping truth bombs like their body slams in a WWE ring together, they've turned Newsom's glossy image into a punchline so brutal it's gone viral, leaving him and Bass scrambling to save face in a state that's crumbling faster than a stale taco show. Why are these two still in charge? How much more chaos, incompetence, and hair gel are Californians supposed to stomach? It's time to rip the curtain off this circus and demand leaders who actually care about the people, not just their mirror time hit that. Like button, subscribe, and brace yourself. This is no ordinary political takedown. It's a foolin' popcorn-worthy Hollywood meets Shaw reality roast. Let's set the scene. California, once the golden land of dreams, beaches, and movie magic, is now a dystopian mess where homelessness rivals Starbucks, for street corners crime spiking like it's auditioning for a crime drama, and wildfires are turning neighborhoods into ash faster than you can say. Evacuation Newsom, with his slick back hair and presidential daydream, struts through this chaos like he's on a red carpet flashing that $1 million smile, while the state burns literally. Bass, meanwhile, is playing sidekick, insisting LA's under control, when anyone with eyes can see it's a war zone of tense trash and turmoil. These two aren't just dropping the ball, they're spiking it into ground and blaming everyone else for the fumble. But then out of nowhere comes Mel Gibson. Yes, that Mel Gibson, the guy who's battled on-screen armies and off-screen controversies with equal ferocity. He's not here to sip tea or play nice, no. He's kicking down the door, flipping the table, and calling out Newsom's leadership like in a bad script he wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. And Tyrus, oh, he's a muscle in this operation, a human bulldozer sarcasm. And with treating Newsom's nonsense like it's a disease he's personally vaccinating against together, they're not just exposing Newsom and Bass, they're shredding their carefully curated images into confetti and lighting it on fire for the world to see. Picture this: Newsom, the guy who looks like he was sculpted by a hair gel enthusiast, is out there negotiating with the chaos like he's haggling with a street vendor. He'll give you a little of this, you give me a little of that. He seems to say as if California's problems can be solved with a wink and a handshake. But the state's not buying it, and neither are Gibson and Tyrus. Mel storms, and like he's filming Mad Max Governor's Edition, pointing at the wreckage of California and shouting, "This is what you call leadership." Tyrus follows, grinning like he just body slammed a folding chair, dropping one-liners that hit harder than a steel cage match. They're not just calling Newsom out, they're serving him a glitter-dusted breakup letter dripping with sarcasm and righteous fury. This isn't polite political jab, it's a full-blown meme-worthy meltdown that's got social media buzzing and Newsom sweating under his perfectly coiffed hair. Why are Newsom and Bass in a hot seat? Simple, they're running California like it's an overpriced amusement park where the rides are broken, the lines are endless, and the only thing working is the parking meter charging you $50 to exist. Wildfires rage, crime spikes, and homelessness explodes. But Newsom's too busy practicing his serious leader face for his 2028 presidential audition. Bass, meanwhile, claims LA's under control. While the city looks like a set for the purge, they point fingers at everyone. Donald Trump, climate change, you name it, while their own backyard burns. Gibson's had enough. This is a man who spent decades in Hollywood sniffing out phonies, and Newsom's act screams fake louder than a movie villain. I played bad guys less cartoonish than this guy. Gibson probably thinks tearing into Newsom's polished persona with the precision of a director's cut. Tyrus, on the other hand, doesn't bother with finesse. He's the sledgehammer, calling Newsom's leadership a contagious disease and himself the cure. Together, they're a powerhouse duo, turning Newsom into a background extra in his own political soap opera. Let's talk about Newsom's image obsession. This is a man who spends more time on his hair than on policy, strutting around like he's a golden boy of progress, while California crumbles deodorants locked behind glass in stores tents outnumber homes. And crime so bad you need a security detail to grab a coffee. It's Gotham without Batman. And Newsom's playing a Joker minus the charm. Gibson sees through the act, calling out with the fury of a man who's fought cinematic wars. Tyrus doubles down, dropping Verbal elbows like he's in a wrestling ring, pointing out that Newsom's leadership is just a shiny veneer over a rotting core. The man's out there acting like he's one speech away from the White House. But Gibson and Tyrus are here to remind him great hair doesn't fix potholes, and a perfect smile doesn't stop wildfires of wildfires. By the way, are a perfect metaphor for this mess. Gibson lost his own home to those flames. So when he speaks, it's personal Newsom's approval. Rating on handling the fires A. Pathetic 30, that's not a leader. That a guy who showed up to a 5-alarm blaze with a squirt gun base, meanwhile insists LA's got it handled even as the city chokes on smoke. And chaos, they're out there blaming Trump, the weather, maybe even the moon's alignment. But Gibson and Tyrus aren't buying excuses. They're calling it what is a leadership failure. So epic, it deserves its own Oscar for Best Disaster. This isn't just shade there. Creating a total solar eclipse, shining a spotlight on Newsom and base incompetence, so bright it's burning through their carefully crafted facades. What makes this takedown legendary isn't just the words, it's the delivery. Gibson's got that Hollywood fire, the kind of intensity that makes you feel like he's about to storm a castle or at least a press conference. He's not just criticizing Newsom, he's dismantling him line by line, like he's rewriting a bad script. Tyrus, meanwhile, brings the comedy, treating Newsom's antics like a skit that wouldn't survive a single rehearsal. You're negotiating with a deaf prostitute, Tyrus quips, and you can almost hear the audience roaring. It's not just a roast, it's a masterclass in exposing a politician who thought he was untouchable. Newsom's use of dodging rival politicians or late-night TV jabs. But Gibson and Tyrus, they're a whole different beast. One's a Hollywood legend with zero filter. The other's a wrestling commentator who treats nonsense like it's a personal insult. Together, they're unstoppable, turning Newsom's presidential dreams into a blooper reel. Let's zoom out for a second. California is not just a state, it's a symbol. It's supposed to be the land of opportunity where dreams are born and fortunes are made. But under Newsom and base, it's a dystopian nightmare. Homelessness is so rampant, you can't walk a block without tripping over a tent. Crime so bad, businesses are fleeing faster than tourists at a sketchy theme park. And the wildfires, they're not just natural disasters. They're a symptom of leadership that's more focused on photo ops. Then fire breaks. Newsom's out there combing his hair like it's a full-time job, while base insists everything's fine, even as LA looks like it's auditioning for Mad Max. Gibson and Tyrus aren't just calling out bad policies. They're exposing a mindset. Newsom and base confuse looking good with doing good, and Californians are paying the price. The irony, Newsom's been grooming himself for presidency, practicing his speeches and perfecting his smirk, but Gibson and Tyrus just turn his audition tape into a viral joke. Every time Newsom tries to pose as a national leader, they're pointing out the potholes, the blackouts, the crime rates that make California feel like a survival game. Gibson's fury is cinematic, Tyrus' sarcasm is surgical, and together they're serving up a reality check that's got Newsom squirming. He can't fight back, respond, and he validates their attack, stays silent, and he looks guilty. It's a comedy choke hold, and the harder he tries to escape, the funnier it gets. Let's talk about the recall effort, because this isn't just talk. People are fed up. Gibson's star power and Tyrus' larger-than-life presence have turned this into more than a critique. It's a movement. When a Hollywood icon and a wrestling legend team up to call out your failures on national TV, you know you're in trouble. Fox and Friends ran the clip. Social media's eating it up, and Newsom's approval ratings are tanking harder than a Straight-O DVD sequel. This isn't just about wildfires or crime. It's about a state that's been betrayed by leaders who care more about their image than their people. Gibson's not just a celebrity throwing shade. He's a Californian who's lost his home, a man who's seen the destruction firsthand. Tyrus isn't just cracking jokes. He's voicing the frustration of millions who feel like their state's been sold out for a photo op. Newsom's response, crickets. Or maybe he's too busy checking his reflection to notice. Either way, he's trapped. Gibson and Tyrus have turned him into the Scooby-Doo villain of his own story, unmasked, exposed, and looking like he got caught running a scam on the whole state. Base 2 is caught in the crossfire, her claims of control sounding hollower by the second. They thought they could coast on charm and excuses, but Gibson and Tyrus aren't here for the fairy tale. They're here to burn it down page by page with a mix of righteous anger and biting humor that's impossible to ignore. So what's next? Californians are asking the same question. How much more of this can we take? Newsom and base have turned the state into a cautionary tale, a place where dreams go to die under a pile of bad policies and broken promises. Gibson and Tyrus aren't just critics of the wake-up call. Their proof that you don't need a podium or a title to hold leaders accountable. All you need is the guts to say what everyone's thinking and the platform to make it heard. This isn't just a roast, it's a rallying Cry it's time to stop tolerating leaders who treat California like a stage for their ego and start demanding one's whole actually fight for its future. Let's keep it real. Newsom's not going anywhere unless people act to recall efforts gaining steam. But it needs more than viral clips and clever one-liners. It needs Californians to stand up, speak out, and take back their state. Gibson and Tyrus have lit the fuse, but it's up to the people to keep the fire burning. Hit that like button, share this story, and let's make sure Newsom and Bass know their time's up. California deserves better than a governor who's all hair and no heart, and a mayor who's more interested in press conferences and progress. This is our state, our home, and it's time to take it back. Let's make some noise, because this isn't just a political moment, it's a revolution, and it's just getting started. Note the above script is a condensed version maintaining the original tone and energy while removing all punctuation, as don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated. Subscribe for more powerful video.